What is up, my nerd familia? Welcome back to another episode of Games y Mas, the podcast where we're talking about all things board games, video games, and a little bit of pop culture. I'm your host, Vic, and today we have another Green Player edition that we're going to be doing here. We're going to be looking at Galactic Cruise here. And for those that are watching, we have Raul back again here.
What's up, everybody?
Sad Boy Swaggins. Here we go. Ready to talk some more Green Player and more of some board games that we have played for the very first time that are our thoughts personally of what we thought these games were on our ranking list, and we'll go over those ranking lists again as well, and dive into it. Shouldn't be a terribly long episode. We're just gonna go ahead and give our thoughts here and then let you guys decide if you guys want to if you think our rankings are valid or not. So very excited for that. You guys, you can find us again on all socials. We're on Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. I don't think we're on Sirius XM, but imagine. But yeah, you can find us there, guys. If you're listening for the first time, give us a follow. Let us know if you guys are enjoying our content. We love seeing your comments and your DMs there. And for those that have been watching Advid, thank you again so much for tuning in here, and we're very excited. So, with all that being said, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñeme a jugar. Galactic Cruise.
What's up?
Oh man, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro.
Doing good?
Yeah, man. Excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, Galactic Cruise, very good one that we've both gotten to play by what's Kingston Key? I can see there.
Kingston Key Games.
Kingston Key Games here. Galactic Cruise is a how many players is it? One to four player.
1 to 4 player game.
1 to 4 player game, Euro-esque, very heavy Euro game.
Yep.
Where we're building our cruise liners into space.
Yep.
For those that are watching and listening for the first time, we've had Raul before on our Green Player, our first ever Green Player, where we talked about what was the game we talked about?
We talked about
Lords of Ragnarok.
Yes,
We talked
sir.
about Lords of Ragnarok. We gave our thoughts there, and we also got to hear Raul's favorite board game and favorite video game. And so, if you want to hear what that is, go ahead and check out that episode, and you'll be able to hear what his favorite video games and his favorite board games. You gave some top threes, and so go check that episode out. But with this episode here, we're just gonna dive right into it, talk about Galactic Cruise, and our experiences. And so, I guess the main question is, what do you think about this game? Well, bro, I'll let you kick it off. What'd you think?
So, Galactic Cruise. I loved it.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. It's worker placement, at heart. But it's got so many cool mechanisms at work that kind of elevated a little bit, in my opinion.
Right.
There's that cool, like at heart, right? Like you have you start off with your 2 workers, and you're going to be putting them out on this little building, and it's got like 6 spots, I believe, on it that you can go to.
Yeah.
But what I really liked was the mechanism where you can you're going to have these little gears on your board that you can kind of put out in between the spaces.
Yeah.
So when you take an action, you can kind of link that space to the action you've taken as long as they're right next to one another.
Yeah.
And perform that action. So you can perform one action here and one action here. And every action space has usually 2 actions tied to it.
Yeah.
So there's this cool, depth to it that it's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna put my worker out, but you can interconnect these spots and plan ahead. Right. I'm gonna go here, but these 2 spots I'm gonna be probably utilizing more than others. So you can kind of go here and then pre-plan to go here. You can kind of really take advantage of it.
Right.
I really like how with the Kickstarter edition, it came with a lot of bonuses. I didn't get the playmat. My buddy Nathan got the playmat.
Got you, yeah.
That thing is sick.
Really?
I'm usually not a big fan of print-on playmats.
Okay.
They're nice, but I feel like the quality of the picture on them can kind of be hit or miss.
Okay, got you.
This one came out really nice, and it had cutout sections for you to fit the different tiles.
Nice.
Instead of laying it on top of the map.
Right.
But for this one, what you can do is there's the basic setup, which is you have your board and you have the basic actions that you can take on it, like for the first time you're playing. But what I really liked was you can have these custom tiles and you can kind of randomize which actions are on the action selection area. And they can be different every time we play.
Right.
Same thing with the different powers and everything. And we only played with the basic.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we can. There's expansions that came with the Kickstarter for new modules for your ship.
Yeah.
That might have like more complex positioning for your passengers.
Right.
So on and so forth. It felt really satisfying.
Yeah.
I honestly, I love the game. It's
sure.
in my top 10 for sure.
Real?
I really,
Dang.
really
Top 10?
enjoyed it.
Okay. Picked it up. The play mat, is that the same mat, kind of like a mouse pad kind of type of mat that you
Yeah.
Okay, special. I do like those. I think they add a nice little touch to it. I have it for Flamecraft, and I like it. It's like nice and sleek. But I could see what you mean where like the picture could get very like misprinted or like very skewed, or like not look, the coloring could be very faded or like dark. I know what you mean when it comes to that. But that's cool. But you have is this the Kickstarter edition? You said
This is the Kickstarter edition.
Okay.
Yeah, it came with. I backed at just the all-in player level.
Okay.
So I just wanted all the expansion pieces.
Yeah.
Whenever I back things on Kickstarter, I have to really like it to get like all the deluxe bits.
Got you.
But it can get pricey.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to just get all like I don't mind the cardboard punch outs and tokens.
Okay.
This came with like the metal money and the plastic
that's right,
little
yeah.
ticket tokens,
Yeah.
and those are a nice addition.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I backed it at the level where I just wanted everything that was going to be gameplay mechanic wise.
Yeah.
So after we play it a couple times, we can throw in the variability of the new ship tiles and more
that's right.
advanced
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the level I backed it up.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yes. It was a great fun game. Definitely more than Lords of Ragnarok. Shout out to the first episode we did here. I enjoyed it very much. It was a fun game to play for sure. And, understand the mechanics and how it works. Yeah. And I thought the theming was great. It's one of the rare instances of games that have good theming for Euro. Because Euros are not very thematic. They're very just, do this and this and this and trade, with a little bit of theming. But this is a great theming game where you're building your cruise liners and you're trying to go to space and send as many tourists as you can to space, more than your other competition, which your other players. I always like to think they're the other competitive like companies that are trying to So it's pretty cool building your ships. I like the mechanics of building, like when you're adding your ships, you're like increasing it, making it bigger, which is pretty cool, and adding different types of rooms. I think there was one where it's like a board game, board game room, whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. Clever. I'm like, oh, I see what they're trying to do here with that, which is really cool. And mechanic wise, and honest review for this one is I think it was a bit of a slow burn.
Okay.
A little bit to begin with.
Uh-huh.
Beginning with, it was a bit of a slow burn because you're kind of doing this and that, and you're not very it's not very fast pace of a game for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And those are Euros, more like they're very slow paced. So I thought it was a bit of a slow burn. Towards the end when it started kind of ramping up, there was okay, we got to setting things off, setting stuff in motion, using your gears to synergize a big chain of events of I can activate this. If I use this ability, then I can activate these two abilities. But then I activate. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't utilize that to the best of my ability. You kind of chained them pretty well. And I think there was that mechanic where it's there's the gray gear that kind of worked in our favor, but but for everyone. I think that was pretty interesting. Where it reminded me of where if you move the gear over to the side and there's already a gear there, and you keep moving until there isn't a gear or it hits your gear or something like that. Don't you get money or something like that for it? I forgot. I remember.
It would depend on if you're talking about the when you're playing for two players.
Yeah.
There's you get the pieces from a third player.
Yeah, right.
And you populate them on the board.
Yeah.
And then when you put a worker down on a space, you can push the other worker off.
Yeah.
If it's another player's worker, they bounce back to your board.
Yeah.
If not, they bounce around the sections until they either land on an open space if it's a regular worker, or if it's an advanced worker, they'll bounce around and they'll seek out another player and bounce that worker back to your player board.
Okay, got you. Okay. I thought that mechanic was pretty interesting. I thought it was a really interesting mechanic. What I really enjoyed was your planning phase, when you're planning the cruises.
Yeah.
And you're broadcasting or promoting your cruise. I thought that was pretty cool. It's it's I was thinking a commercial was playing in my head where it's join us as we take a trip over to the green planet, stuff like that. And I was oh, that was pretty cool. And you're trying to attract, you're trying to attract certain type of crowds that can give you extra points stuff. I thought that was a pretty cool mechanic to do. And then setting up the tour and everything, getting ready to launch. And I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know, I'm still iffy about it. Like I said, it's maybe we played it once for I played it once. I don't know how many times have you played it before then.
I played it one time on Tabletop Simulator while it was in Kickstarter.
Oh, okay, gotcha. A while ago.
Yeah. And it wasn't fully released. They were all like still like development pieces and everything.
For sure.
So full time playing it with you with everything. And I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like it felt like you said it did for. It felt very thematic.
Yeah.
I felt like I can imagine like, okay, I'm going to my research and development department. I'm picking up these blueprint schematics. Right. I'm going to my assembly line and I'm building them onto my spaceship.
Yeah.
I got to get resources and pull fuel, oxygen, and food for all my people.
Yeah.
Going out onto the other side of the board where I'm like, broadcasting out with my little vouchers to like, hey, come buy tickets, jump onto this cruise.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you pull your orange, purple, or blue workers, passengers.
Yeah, your passengers,
Line them up. You get some bonuses for that. And then it's really cool. I really like when you're about to launch a ship and you have to get the guy that's going to be the pilot.
Yeah.
Put him at the bottom of the launch pad and everything's laid out there for you nicely. Like I'm going to make sure I pay for all my workers. I pay for all the food. I'm going to place all my passengers up to the next spot and do all these bonuses up to the end. You check it up all the way as you're going up to the little lift to get to the ship, and then you put your worker.
Yeah,
I like that you lose the worker for the ship. Like that was cool. Like you put the worker onto the ship.
Yeah, and
the worker is going to travel on all the stops that your spaceship's off. Right, yeah. He's piloting the spaceship.
Yeah.
You've lost that worker.
Gotcha.
There's a good way for you to gain lots of points. Right. When you're doing that, because if you have a lot of blue workers, a lot of blue passengers, which tend to be more that's like the family color, if you will, in the game.
Yeah.
If you're landing on planets that have like blue activities, you can drop off this little chip that's the fuel for your rocket ship, and you unlock a power for the rest of the use of the game, and there's a chance to score tons of points. There's this, and I like that every time you launch a rocket, you're going to put a cube onto this little thing, and that's the end of game tracker. There's 3 main things you can go for. And the first person to get to them gets to like put one of their cubes down and say like, oh hey, and at the base game, I forget what the base level ones are, but there's some base ones printed, but there's variability in the chips you can cover it up for.
I remember that.
And it's just like this really cool mechanism. It feels like once you put down like 2 chips, and then as soon as you start, it's kind of long, like you said, to launch that first rocket. It takes a bit. But once you've launched your rocket and you start building your second or third rocket, it just feels like you snap your fingers and it's just like...
Yeah, it picks up. It ramps up.
Yeah, because every time somebody launches a rocket, you're pushing the end game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was very slow burn, but it picks up really well. I think this game... not a con, but I guess a thing that's trying... I think this game is so hard trying to be an Ameritrash game, but it's like a Euro game. Theming-wise. I think it's like trying to be like, trying to dive into the deep of the theming of Ameritrash, but it's like reality, it's like a Euro. And where you're like, all right, Galactic Cruise, slow down, my boy. Like, you're a Euro. Don't try to run into play with the big boys here with Ameritrash. You're a Euro. Let's keep it as a Euro. But I think it's great because I think it's trying to be that hybrid of like, it's very thematic, very theming-wise, but it's like, mechanical wise, it's like a heavy Euro game where it's like, you're very limited on things you can do. You can't just go off, start blasting ships everywhere and start, go explore the whole galaxy. They're just like, you have to make sure you have enough oxygen. Was there food? There
was food. Mm-hmm.
Food. You got to make sure you have enough food for your people and everything. Can you make it in time? Is the route you're taking, how much can you maximize the most profit out of, going to your route that you chose, of exploring these planets, and which these planets attract more of these other types of guests. And I think you were telling me that the color of each guest represents like, I think the purple are like the thrill seekers or something like that.
It was the orange are the thrill seekers. Yeah. The purple are like the relaxation type.
Yeah. So like I like the theming of that. It's like if you take a trip, if you choose to take this route for one of your ships, more of the relaxation people are gonna enjoy it more and give you more points on that because they're enjoying this route more. So it makes you like think strategy wise, like, okay, where can I maximize my ships to go? And you got to look at the list or see the pool of guests that there are, and see who you can attract and stuff. Or maybe you can't because you're very limited. The way you build your ships are not built for certain types of people and stuff. So I think that was pretty clever. It's pretty cool. But again, I think it's so hard trying to be like an Ameritrash theming wise game where you're like, slow down, my guy, slow down. This is a Euro game for sure.
I think I've got a challenge I got to come up with. I'm gonna try to find the most thematic Euro games I can.
Okay.
See if I can make you a convert. I'm gonna make you love Euro
never.
games.
I will never turn. I'm an Ameritrash player through and through.
I'm thinking like. I'm gonna see what I can find because it is hard to find a good themed Euro game. Like they're out there for sure. I'm thinking games like you've never played Caverna, I don't think.
No.
Caverna's great. Agricola is right now on GameFound, up to be
really
crowdfunded. They're doing a deluxe edition.
That's on BGA too? No,
it's on Board Game Arena.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
I think so.
But the original version is on BGA.
Okay,
same thing with Castles of Burgundy.
They're getting a deluxe version.
They're getting a deluxe version
really?
by your boy
Awakened Realms.
Awakened Realms.
Really?
So
they're swooping in after with all these tariffs and everything. Then these companies going under, which is sad. Awakened Realms is trying to swoop in and try to capitalize on that loss.
Agricola has been in like the top 100 on the Board Game Geek forum.
Because when you said like Agricola is getting like Kickstarter or GameFound, I'm like, isn't that game been around for like a long time though? Like,
it's a really popular farming Euro game.
Yeah.
So I love.
Here we go. Yes.
But I want to have you try out Caverna because that game I think is like it's a farming game, but it feels thematically like you're a dwarf, you're in a cave.
Okay.
That's gonna be another one we got to play.
I'm down. I'm super down.
That's a great one.
I don't know because I just got Fall of the Mountain King and the Hall of the Mountain King. And those are Euro games, but like the theming wise and the story, I'm like, ooh, this is maybe pushing me over, but not a lot. But I think we're gonna play it later on, and like I'm very curious, and stay tuned. Maybe we might do a green play for that one as well. Back at the topic at hand with Galactic Cruise. It was a fun game. I said I enjoyed it. It was a great time. I think 2 players was maybe too small. I think maybe a 4 players max count. I think I might have a better time because it's like to see more. Because I felt like I wasn't limited, but like I felt like having a 3rd player, NPC player was kind of like took me out of like the immersion of it because I'm like, okay,
true.
I feel like if we had everyone in, now we're all in. You don't have that extra player unless do you have to add a like NPC player when you have all 4 players?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that actually. That's something that a lot of Euros tend to do with like you get like if you're playing at 2 players, you get like a 3rd player's pieces.
Yeah.
And you just populate spaces and they're just there to take up room.
Yeah.
I kind of am iffy on that too because like it'd be nice to have everything available.
Yeah.
And then it's just taking up space. So usually I think those would probably be better at like a 3-4 player
4 player game for sure. Because I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Where it's like we got to limit you. Or like if you're playing 2 players, it might get overwhelmed. Or we'll block off certain areas and games because it's too much. Or like it'll never be used. So what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like you can kind of make up another mechanic for that, other than kind of using a 3rd players or an NPC kind of, or maybe like a different map or something like that, or something else.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it could be, it's easier said than done, obviously, with this one, with Galactic Cruise, I think player count, I think 4 players would probably be best. I think we got to try it again, but with 4 players and see, how it plays out. Not to say with 2 players is not great. It was fun, but I was just like, having that 3rd party-esque, I was just like, okay, it kind of like with Black Rose Wars too, having that 3rd party. But is that always the case with Black Rose Wars? Is there always going to be the board that's playing, even if we're at 4 players?
Even at 4 players, the board's always there at Black Rose Wars.
Okay, so that's the exception, I guess. That one because you always have to have it, but with like. When you're reading the rules, and it's like, if you're playing with 2 players, add this to this because I'm like, okay, whatever. And with some of these other games too, they're the same thing as well.
No.
So I think 4 players definitely be better played for sure. It will definitely take longer because I know when we played, it took a minute to play.
It took a bit, yeah.
Even with the rules teach and everything, it still took a minute. So it might take a minute. So for those that are listening, this is a heavy game that might take a while to play. Not super heavy. But I forgot what was the end game condition was
There's like this little section of the board where you're putting cubes down.
when it gets all filled up, right?
And it's when that fills up. And at the beginning, it's a little slow. But once you start launching your rockets and people start like putting all their, like, I think it's like have 3 gears left. Like you put all of them down but 3.
Yeah.
Have a bunch of different locations full. Once you start fulfilling those, you start putting your cubes down on that section, and it starts accelerating the end game.
Right. Got you.
But it can take a little bit to build up to that point.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. So that was a bit of our overview of the game. I enjoyed it. It was a fun game. For you, it's one of your climbing your top 10s. For me, I may have to get a couple rounds in before I can make a decision if it's going to be top 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have rankings here that we're going to talk about as well, and we'll do a little bit of a recap of what Green Player is. I mean, you guys, if you stuck around and listened, and are wondering, okay, why is it called Green Player? It looks like you guys are doing just a game review. Well, we explained it a little bit on the first segment, but we'll recap again. Green Player is a little bit of history on that. Raul and I like to be the Green Player, green token, green color, whatever it is. They're always fighting for it. So we like being green. And so we wanted to do that as kind of like a little bit of play on words of like, we like to be the Green Player and playing, But another thing is that in medieval lore, fantasy kind of green, the boy is green, kind of green is that it's unexperienced. And so we're coming to you with unexperienced playing these games. Maybe we've played them once or twice, but we're still not very like deep into the games. Like, pretty sure you're deep into Nucleum because you've played that so many times.
Yeah.
So that's not green for you. You already know this game. But for us, Galactic Cruise or some of these games that we'll be talking about, they're green to us because we don't know much experience about that game. So a little bit play on words and stuff. And so that's why we call it Green Player. So give me a little bit of history. But with that also, we wanted to do kind of a little bit of a ranking system. I know you might have listened to, other board gamers that have done reviews that are kind of just tell you, hey, I liked it or not, or it's good, thumbs up. So maybe some have a cool little gimmick, but we wanted to do a little gimmick of some rankings that we've come up with. We've come up with 6 rankings, and we'll explain them as well again. And then we'll after we're done explaining, we'll go ahead and give our rankings and what we think about it. Okay. So we have 6 rankings here. The first ranking is Party On, Dudes. It's a game that's fun to play. It's a game that's not amazing, but it's not also a boring game. It's a game that have fun, party on, have a good time. We have another one called Rage Table Flip, where it's a frustrating game, a game that you just want to flip the table. We're looking at you Monopoly and some other games that you just want to like flip over. Another one's Nat 20. This is Natural 20 for my D&D fans out there. If you roll a Nat 20, this is amazing. You've rolled the highest possible ever. And so this is an amazing game, the best game that's possible ever, that's out there, that just blows blows out of the water. That's a game that you should have, that you should be playing, and that we recommend highly. So that's a Nat 20. Our next ranking is No Phones Needed. It's a game that's not boring. It's not an amazing game, but it's a game that'll keep you engaged. And some of these games, the heavy-ended games, whenever you're waiting on turns, sometimes you have a tendency to pull out your phone and kind of scroll it. So this ranking is that it keeps you engaged enough that you don't have to be on your phone because you're in it, you're in the game, you're keeping engaged, you're watching what everyone is doing, and so that's one. But which brings us to the next one, which is a phone scroller, which is a very slow game, a game where you're gonna pull out your phone maybe and kind of look at your phone while you're scrolling while someone else, and especially if you have AP. That's even more, which is analysis paralysis, where you just don't know what to do on your turn. You're kind of thinking heavy. Yeah, you're going to pull out your phone and kind of like be looking at it. So that's a phone scroller game. And the last one is Good Will It. This game is trash. This game is horrible. Don't even, chuck it. Don't even sell it, man. Just donate it. Just get rid of it.
Put it in a box. Take it.
Yeah, put it in a box. Take it and be done with it. Don't even do it. So it's a game that's horrible. I don't know. I feel like when we do these segments, I'm like trying to see if this game will ever get a goodwill. But I doubt it because I love playing board games. But who knows? Maybe we might find a game where it's like, this game was trash and we should probably goodwill it.
Yep.
And so those are the rankings there. Raul and I will give each our ranking what we feel like it deserves. And then we'll leave it to you guys in the comments below if you think it's a game that should be the ranking that we gave it, or should be another ranking. So we're very curious. So don't be shy. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think it is. Yeah, there you go. Type it out and let us know what it is, or on your phone, whatever it is. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and give our rankings here. Raul, I'll let you take it away. What do you think this ranking? What does this game deserve its ranking? What do you think it's your ranking?
For me, Nat 20.
Oh, really?
I love this game, brother.
A nat 20?
Yeah, I love this game. So
hot take.
I'm a big Euro fan.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of a designer called Vital Lacerda.
Yeah.
He has a reputation for making some of the most complex games ever. This is like Vital Lacerda Light.
Oh.
It has what I felt was the depth and the number of mechanisms going on in a nice, neat little package. There's this game I really like called On Mars. It's a Vital Lacerda game.
Yeah.
Similar space theme. You're developing Mars.
Right.
But every time I've taught that game to some people, it's just like there's so much going on.
Wow.
It's like it's a worker placement, just like this game. But you've got 2 maps where you have actions that you can put things on.
Yeah.
That's when we have to play. It's good.
Okay.
But it's hard. It's complex.
Okay.
This felt like I got that same sense of satisfaction. Like I'm gonna go here. I can plan my moves like 4 or 5 moves ahead. Like I'm gonna go here. I can take this action, pay this. I have a gear here. I can take that action.
Yeah.
Next turn, I can take my guys back, get this bonus. Then I have the money I need to do this. I'll put this guy out here, get my sponsorships, prep my ship, spend it all, and launch it, which will get me this many points. And I got that, like I can plan like 5-6 moves ahead pretty reliably.
Right.
And it's just there was this deep sense of satisfaction
Yeah.
that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I have to play it more, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It might drop down. I might just be in a bit of a honeymoon phase with
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, where
Where
it's
you're-
just like I'm in love. I love this.
Just a music game. Yeah,
oh,
for
it's
sure.
so amazing. But I have a feeling that even after a couple of plays with the add-ons of different chip modules,
Yeah.
the variability of moving stuff around, of having different end game scoring, different powers, with all that variability being in there, I feel like I could reliably play this game like 10, 12 times and still keep it pretty fresh.
Okay.
And still feel excited about it. It will probably dampen a little bit, you know?
yeah.
But right now for me, it's like, I played it and I was like, this is a hit for me. I had a blast. I look forward to playing this thing.
Okay.
The only downside is the amount of time it would take.
Yeah.
You know, especially if like we were to play it with like Emilio, right?
Right.
And the other homies. It'd take like an hour for me to teach them all the rules.
Yeah, for sure.
Explain some things like, hey, just keep this in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Because there's some pitfalls you could fall under, like for the end game scoring things. If you don't participate in it and don't get those cubes out, you're not gonna get points, and it can really hamper you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You can get blocked out pretty quickly, and that can feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that, you know?
Got you.
So for me, this game, like, in my top 10 for sure.
Okay.
I got to play it more, but I mean, it's up there, maybe probably top 5 even.
Got you.
It's really worker placement, probably my favorite worker placement.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did. Worker placement's been done so many times.
Yeah.
I have so many in my collection that I'm just like, it feels like, but this one felt really satisfying for me, you know?
Okay.
It's simple, yet deep in how you can do things.
Got you.
So
Okay.
I really like it.
Interesting. Nat 20, really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
For me, it knocked it out of the park.
Damn. You heard it from Raul said it. He said Nat 20.
It's a good game.
He said Nat 20. He said Nat 20. Okay, geez. Okay, well, listen, man. Goodwill it.
Don't tell me that.
Goodwill.
I'm out of here.
No. Okay, so this is my ranking, and don't.
Oh, no.
Don't divide that. For those of you that are gonna come at me, don't. Listen. Hear me out. I'm giving this ranking a phone scroller.
Okay.
I think it's a phone scroller. Not to say I didn't enjoy it. I know we said that phone scroller is more of a boring game. It has a high capacity to become a very boring game if you're at full count and if you're waiting around for another player. Right. This could be said about any board game. I could say about any board game where, even like Monopoly or like any like easy games. So like if you have a player that's taking too long, you're gonna pull out your phone for sure.
Yeah.
This game is on that dangerous level of like, even if you take like 2 or 3 minutes just to do a move, if I'm first player and then we're waiting on the third player, I'm gonna probably pull out my phone waiting for this person. Not to say that I'm not ready to do my turn, or not to say that this is boring. I don't care. I'm probably like, the way I play, guys, is that I'm like you. I'm already thinking like 3 or 4 moves ahead. So if I'm already set on what I'm doing, and I already have some variations in case you do something like that. If I'm already like that, when it comes to third player, if the third person doesn't know what they're doing or they're kind of figuring out how to play it or trying to do something, I'm whipping out my phone and just kind of scrolling a little bit, trying to do whatever. It has the capacity to become a very boring game if people are taking too long, because this game is so very beefy and very like a lot of stuff is happening that if there's any if we go all cylinders charging, you start going, you're gonna be engaged, but the minute you start slowing down and you start like pausing, it's gonna slow down very big. And so I'm giving it a phone scroller. Not to say you shouldn't try it; it's a fun game, but it has the capacity. Just keep that in mind when you play this game. That like if know the crowd you're playing with, and if you feel like it's gonna slow it down, it's gonna slow it down very well. But this game is awesome. It's a fun game. I do want to play it again. Raul gave it a nat 20, so there you go. I'm giving it a phone scroller, but don't take my word for it, or don't take Raul's word for it, but try it out yourself. Give it a whirl. Let us know what you thought about it. Galactic Cruise, fun game. But it's a very beefy. The rules teach might take a minute.
It is beefy.
Setup time is a little bit too, also a little bit beefy because there's a lot of components, a lot of things.
It took us a while to set it up.
Yeah. So bear in mind when it comes to that. But it is a fun game. Like I said, it's great. The theming is there. If you like space themes and like, managing like, fleets and stuff, you're going to like this game. Now, you don't have a massive fleet, but like you have your little cruisers, like cruise liner, and you can customize them and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And so, man, phone scroller. I'm giving it a phone scroller.
Yeah. I mean, it shows like, it's a good game. We both enjoy it, but like different people, different board gamers, like different kinds of games and find different things enjoyable. I agree. Like if you don't like slow paced games, this could get boring for you 100%,
I agree.
I like Euros, so I don't mind the slow pace so much. I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you like faster, more like action-y thematics, like a Zombicide where everybody's engaged and stuff like that moving around, this one would definitely, bog you down a little bit.
For sure.
It's on the heavy side.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is. But I'm glad we got to play it. I'm glad we got to try it. I've been seeing a lot of posts, a lot of shout out to all you content creators out there that have been posting it. I'm thinking of like Carly, from Board Game Buzz. I think she posted about it. I think Bands and Eater also posted by Grant. Danielle. Shout out to you guys. So those are our rankings, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Were we wrong? Were we right? Or does it deserve another ranking? Very curious to hear what your guys' thoughts on this game. Let us know your experience playing these games. And let us know if you want to have a game night. Let's play it again. Yeah,
hit
definitely.
us up. Let's
hit
go.
us up. Yeah, we're always on we're BGA. Well, it's not on BGA, but you can find, we're down to play it on TTS if you guys are out, or if you're in the SoCal area looking for games, hit Raul and I up. We're always down for that. We'll go ahead and end the podcast here. Not a super long one. Raul, thanks again for joining us here for another segment of Green Player. We're looking forward to more games. We got more games to go through.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, hit that 5-star button. Let us know. Leave us a review. Let us know what you liked about the podcast and give us a follow. And if you want to follow us on Instagram for more content, behind the scenes stuff or some more. I like to post a lot of meme videos. Memes, so they're very board game memes and some other video game memes. You can follow us on all social media, on X, Facebook. Again, I said in the beginning, X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. You can find us at Games and Must Pod. That is at Games and Must Pod. Or if you want to send us an email, send us an email. We're at gamesandmustpod@gmail.com. That's gamesandmustpod@gmail.com. And so, thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. If you stuck around, y nos vemos para la próxima.